Hello again, and it's time for math. Today we're going to do lesson 137, and we're going to practice the same thing that we did last time. We're going to be adding and subtracting unlike fractions. Here we go. So, 3/8 plus 1/2. We can see, if we look carefully, that these two fractions are not like fractions because their denominators are different. But we know that we can use the identity principle for multiplication to put the fractions into like terms. And we can do that by multiplying by a name for 1. In this case, we're going to multiply the fraction 1/2 by a name for 1, 4/4, which will give us 4/8. And now we can add 3/8 and 4/8 because they are like fractions. 3/8 plus 4/8 is equal to 7/8. Let's try another one together. Maybe you want to get a piece of scrap paper and pause the video and try solving it for yourself before you see the solution here on the screen. Alright, so 5/9 plus 2/3. Again, we have unlike terms in these fractions, so we have to put them into like terms. And we use the identity principle for multiplication to rename 2/3 into a fraction that will be in like terms with 5/9. If we multiply 2/3 by 3/3, we're not changing the value, we're only putting 2/3 into higher terms, which would be 2 times 3 is 6, 6/9. And now we can add 5/9 plus 6/9, and our answer is 11/9. But now we have another small problem. But we have worked with this before. Do you remember what kind of fraction 11/9 is? It's an improper fraction, that's right. So we have to change it into a mixed number. If we have 11/9, we know that we have one whole. 9/9 is part of 11/9, and there would be 2/9 left over. So we have one whole and 2/9 left over. Our answer then would be 1 and 2/9. Here's another problem for us. 2/3 plus 5/12. Again, the fractions are unlike fractions, so we need to put the fractions into like terms before we can add them. And to do that, again, we use the identity principle for multiplication, and we multiply by a name for 1. What number can we multiply by 3 to get 12? If you said 4, you were correct. That means we're going to use 4/4 to multiply by 2/3 in order to put 2/3 into a like fraction with 5/12. So if we do that, we get 8/12. Now we can add them together. 8/12 plus 5/12 is equal to 13/12. And again, we have an improper fraction. We never want to leave an improper fraction as our answer unless we're told to do that. We always should change it to a mixed number. So if we look at 13/12, we know that there are 12/12 inside of 13/12. That would give us one whole, and we would have 1/12 left over. So 13/12 is the same as 1 and 1/12. All right, let's try another one. Remember, it's probably a good idea for you to pause the video right now, solve this problem on your own, and see if you get the same answer I do. Again, first of all, we have to use the identity principle for multiplication to get this into like terms. And if we use 2/2 as our name for 1, that would change 5/7 into 10/14. And now we have like terms, so we can add them, and that would give us 13/14, and it's a proper fraction, so that's all the farther we need to go to solve that problem. Did you get it right? If you didn't get it right, do you know why you missed it? If you're having some troubles, just give me a call and maybe we can work it through over the phone. What about subtraction? Well, subtraction is going to work the same way. We have to have these fractions into like terms. So if we have 4/6 minus 1/2, we need to rename 1/2 into sixths. And to do that, we're going to multiply by a name for 1. If we multiply 1/2 times 3/3, we get 3/6. Now we can add 4/6 to 3/6. And when we do that, oh, we're not adding, we're subtracting. That's right. 4/6 minus 3/6 would be 1/6. 1/6 is a proper fraction, and so we're finished with that problem. Let's try another one. Get out your scrap paper and pause the video and try this one on your own before you look at the solution with me. All right, did you get it? Let's see. Well, we need to put these fractions into like terms. To do that, we need to multiply by a name for 1. If we want to put 1/4 into eighths, we should multiply by 2/2, which would give us 2/8. Now we have 2/8 minus 1/8, which gives us 1/8. 1/8 is a proper fraction, so we're good. Did you get that answer? I hope you did. Let's try another one. Practice makes perfect, right? So pause the video, see if you can solve this problem and get the same answer I do. 4/5 minus 5/10. What name for 1 should we use this time? Well, if we want to put 4/5 into tenths, we have to multiply the 5 by 2, which means we have to use the name for 1, 2/2. 4/5 times 2/2 is 8/10. 8/10 minus 5/5 is equal to 3/10, and we've solved the problem. Did you get that answer? Here's another one. 3/4 minus 4/12. You solve it first, and then check your solution with mine. All right, now we're going to need to rename 3/4 into 12ths, and to do that, we need to multiply by a name for 1. 3/3 should do it, and then we get 9/12. 9/12 minus 4/12 is equal to 5/12. Well, you're going to have some problems like this on your work page for today. I think we've done quite a bit of practice, so I hope it goes well for you. And again, I'm a phone call away if you need some help.